Okay, cool. Good deal. Alrighty. Okay, Zoom room is open. You should be able to see the screen behind me. My microphone is on. So if your sound's coming out of your computer, go ahead and mute that, please. We're live, so you guys' phones need to be zipped in your bag, please. Check that real quick. Zip them up, put them away. Put them all the way out. So this page that I'm about to show you is not attached to a Canvas module yet. It will be at the end of class, but we'll walk through it here real quick so that you guys kind of have an idea of what we're working with here. This is going to be the introduction to our character design combo anatomy unit. And we're going to start by focusing on the more cartoony, more fun aspects of it as compared to the more technical constructive drawings of the human form or other forms in general. So character design is the basis of good animation and storytelling. Emphasis on the storytelling. Good character design can create visual phenomena and synthesize a brand identity down to a recognizable cartoon, like Mickey Mouse, perhaps. Or it can single-handedly destroy a franchise. If you're a Star Wars fan, there's some strong feelings against Jar Jar Binks, among others, but they have a very distinct design that influences what you feel about their character. So either way, understanding the fundamental concepts behind what makes a successful character will help you create a compelling character and story. You guys are doing great so far with your environment designs and your city designs by influencing and kind of imbuing a lot of character into your spaces, into your creative arts. Now you can really put a literal character following those same rules into those spaces. So, but in character design, there are three crucial elements that we need to keep in mind. Those three things are silhouette, contrast, and shape design. And it's going to break these down each in a more detailed definition here. So silhouette, also another word for shadow. If you think about a shadow, it's featureless besides the shape that that blocks the light, if we're talking literally, right? Your silhouette is going to be the overall shape of your character. We go back to Mickey Mouse, right? You're picturing something just by me saying the words. You're picturing something about Mickey Mouse. That would be the silhouette. That's the most recognizable layout of your character, most recognizable aspects of your character. And that's because they're intentionally designed using this process of silhouette. If you remember who's that Pokemon? It's an entire study of what a silhouette is, identifying the character based on their shape with no detail. Okay, if we're talking 3D, we use the T-pose silhouette, but no one actually stands like this. So we look at these examples from, I'm not going to say what movie, but can you guys guess? Oh, Coraline. It's Coraline, exactly. Can you see how each of these characters has a very distinct personality with literally no detail? This is just black outline on a white screen. You see the differences? In order to have a solid character, or a solid character designed in the sense that it accomplishes your goal of telling your story, you need to start with the silhouette. You can have as much detail as possible, but if your character is an egg, all of that detail is lost. If your character is a rock, if your character is a stick, something featureless in the silhouette, featureless in the detailed or the detailless part, it's bare pieces, it's going to be hard to recognize that character, and it's going to be hard for your audience to attach to that character, right? So it's just the overall shape is the only thing that we're focusing on. That's why I had you guys design these shapes randomly without thinking about it, because then they're going to influence the way that you think. So silhouettes are going to be kept as simple as possible because we're losing out on those details. We won't get into a lot of the details about negative space, but that is just space that's not occupied by the actual silhouette itself. This character, you can tell, even though they don't have any brand identities on their clothes or any props in their hands or any situations of the context around them, you can tell that they have a certain attitude, they have a certain kind of vibe, because the silhouette is very intentionally designed. And that's the first step you should take when you're thinking about creating these characters. It helps when we combine this with anatomy, so you can understand how the pieces of the body kind of interact with each other proportionally. We've done a little bit of that with like the Toast method for hands, the 1-to-1-to-1 to fingers, stuff like that. But when we're thinking about constructing a skeleton in a body, it's going to help you think about silhouettes, right? My philosophy on this kind of thing is you learn the rules first and then you break the rules. Because once you know how the rules work, then you can start tinkering with them and adjusting them. So anyway, contrast. Silhouette is just the bare minimum featureless outline of your character, and it should influence how your character acts, feels, or thinks. Contrast is the mixture of curved and straight lines. So if we look at these guys, go back up to our silhouettes, because these two pieces interact, or these two ideas will interact with one another. This character, based on how many straight angled lines do you have, give me some terms that you usually associate with straight or angled lines. There's no wrong answers. I'm just curious what you guys are thinking. What's up? Slanted. Okay. So slanted has some interpretations for sure. That could be positive or negative. Slanted is definitely one. What else do you guys, what other words do you associate with like straight lines? No curved lines, or the lack of curved lines. Yeah, Iggy, what's up?
Inorganic.
Inorganic, yeah. Maybe unnatural or artificial, right? Not of nature. That's good. It's a good one. Okay. So let's compare that to, we have our straight angled lines to something more contoured. What do you guys typically associate with contoured, curved lines, things like that? Blob, all right. Jelly, okay. Things that are not contained to a typical shape, blob nor jelly, or one single shape. What else? What else do you guys notice or feel about more contoured characters? If straight lines are inorganic or artificial, and the opposite of straight lines is contoured lines, does that also mean the opposite definition or the opposite kind of vibe comes off of a contoured character? Do you feel a little bit more comfortable with a contoured character? Maybe less threatened? I know these are kind of negative, pessimistic terms, but it is human nature to look for these kinds of patterns. And you can use that to your advantage, is what I'm saying, in the character design realm of things. So the contrast, if you put these two characters right next to each other, we just imagine, here, let's do this. Let's see if it loads. Okay. We just focus on, never mind, that's not going to work. Just kidding. Okay. The differences between these two, even though they're not very obvious necessarily, the vibe is different, just in general. That's contrast at work. You can see this example of Rapunzel. We have I forgot the horse's name, but by combining these longer, more straight lines with more dramatic curves and contours, we create a silhouette that is a lot more contrasting and a lot more visually interesting. A lot more detail is being communicated if we imagine that this horse is just black filled, right? No detail, none of that. You could tell that that's probably a horse based off the ear, based off the straight parts of the face, the opposite underneath with the curved parts. You can combine these artificial or more inorganic straight lines with curved contoured lines to create something that's a lot more likely to be real, right? A lot more believable for your audience, a lot more, less of a stretch for them to reach as to why we're doing things like that. So contrast adds to visual appeal. And then finally, this was the main purpose. All of these combine into the idea of shape design, character shapes and development. That's what we did during this entry task. So if we look at Mario, what are some of the first words that come to mind when you look at Mario? Ignore everybody else. What are some of the first words you guys think of when you see Mario? He's too jumpy. Okay. Energetic. Could that be interpreted as energetic? Yeah.
Sure.
What's up?
Sure.
Yeah, cheerful. Okay. Cheerful, energetic. What else we got? Helpful. Okay. Yeah, helpful. So if you answered, why did you answer helpful or cheerful or energetic? What brought you to that conclusion? And it can be just vibes.
It's just the way that he acts.
Right.
Just his behavior is just what.
Mm. No, that makes sense. Okay. All of these characters are based on the same model. In the game, they're literally all Mario was designed first, and then these were just copied, pasted, adjusted, based off of the idea of shape design. So if we look at Luigi, for example, compare Luigi's pose to Mario's pose. It's a lot more symmetrical, it's a lot more stoic, a lot more steady, to stick in the S words. That's going to influence Luigi's position in the story, as well as the way people feel about it. Luigi's a steady character. He provides support to Mario, who's a lot more energetic, excited, gets into things more so than Luigi does. That's based off of how he's shaped, more rectangularly as compared to, Mario's kind of apple shaped, I guess. And then if we look at Wario, who is supposed to be the opposite of Mario, instead of being round, kind of inviting, cheerful, Wario is very sharply angled. You can see some triangle happening here, right? With the wide shoulders and the smaller base. It's like an upside down triangle. So with the upside down triangle, it's also going to influence how you're feeling about Wario. If he's the opposite of Mario, his shape design is also going to be the opposite of Mario. And each of the characters in Mario, the enemies at least, are typically designed with these more sharp, artificial angled triangles. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It'll still be in English later on. So you'll just have to listen to what I'm saying as well. Okay. Everything is based off the circular concept. There's some more detailed breakdowns here if you want to read that later on. Ultimately, we'll wrap this up real quick. Don't get too hung up on the specifics. If you overthink your design, then you get that analysis paralysis. You get the fear of doing something wrong. You get it's not going to look right, and then you make no progress. So don't get hung up on the specifics. This is about getting an idea out and experimenting with it. All right. Iteration. So that's the thing I talk about when we work in waves. Creates many versions at the beginning, brings a lot more life to your design than hours of thinking and anxiety, right? This is an early concept sketch of Sonic. Look how basic it is. And it captures a lot of Sonic's vibe, a lot of the energy that the original creator was going for. The spirit is there. And there's some more links here if you wanted to read those at your own pleasure. Okay, so let's check where we're at in the agenda. We've got our 3 terms right here. Can anybody give me a definition for silhouette? No details? Give me some more words for silhouette. Outlines, great. Okay, cool. No details, outline. Let's go one more. Just one more silhouette word, huh?
Contour.
What is it?
Contour.
Contour. Okay, yeah, sure. Contour. All right. Contrast is a little bit different. What are some words for contrast so we can kind of use those definitions?
Black and white.
Black and white, yeah, that's literally contrast. So black and white.
It's anything, basically, it's anything like dark and light. There's no contrast.
So differences is for contrast, right? Differences. Okay. What else we got? I'm going to add one. Emphasis. You can pair these two things together to create that line of emphasis. Hi, welcome in. Create that line of emphasis so that things become more obvious that there's a difference. And then shape design, finally, I'm just going to add real quick. How shapes affect vibes. And I'll add this to our agenda for the day.
So what were we doing in class today, like when I wasn't here?
I'll catch you up.
Okay.
So just log into the Zoom room. Okay, so now what I'll have you guys do is this quick shape and character discussion that should wrap up our Zoom room for the time being. Let me publish that real quick. So if you go to Canvas. Oops. Okay, give me a sec. I thought it was published. Okay. All right. There we go. So right on the top of drawing figures, there's a character design module. We just went through this page. So if you're interested in some of those links or a more detailed breakdown of that stuff, you can check that out. But there's this shape and character discussion here that I want you guys to answer in the next 13 minutes or so. We'll take our break. Hi, welcome in. And then we'll start on some actual character design processes in the Zoom room. Thank you. All right, so can you guys all access that discussion? Is it up? Can anybody not see it? Okay, cool. So let's do that until our break at 10:50, and then after the break, we'll get back in the Zoom room and we will do some character design ideas or some actual exercises. Thank you, guys.